Hi and good welcome. I'm Steve Irwin with Arizona Prime Real Estate. Today we have the pleasure of introducing Amanda Creel from our Prescott Area Association of Realtors. Good afternoon, Amanda.
Hey Steve, how are you?
I'm well. So tell us a little bit about your job at Prescott, kind of what you do, and a little bit about our local association.
Well, our local association is about 1,600 realtors strong, so we're very proud of that. We're the largest association in this part of the state, so we're very excited about being in Northern Arizona and doing what we can do to help our clients and realtors provide better service to their clients. So we focus on education, we focus on allowing mediation services and things through our partnerships with the state. We work to provide good speakers and good information to allow all of our realtors to practice in the best way possible and to make sure that they have all the resources they need to be the realtors that they want to be.
And so tell us a little bit about some of the services that realtors provide that are members of the association that benefit our communities.
Well, one of my favorite things about working with realtors and when I got involved is that realtors do so much more than sell houses. They build community. And by building community, they do a lot of things. But some of my favorite things are the fact that 70% of all realtors volunteer in their communities. So they're working with your Boys and Girls Club. They're working with your local garden clubs. They're working with any children's group, any senior adult group. They're doing Meals on Wheels. They're doing all those kind of things to make sure that the community is taken care of and that not only is the community their favorite place to live because they chose to live there as realtors, but that it can be the favorite place for the people that they're trying to sell those homes to.
Oh, excellent. And just from experience, I know that not every real estate professional is a realtor. What's the distinction?
Well, one of the biggest distinctions is the code of ethics. As a realtor, the realtors follow the code of ethics and they actually agree that they are going to hold themselves to a higher standard. So they don't just follow the legal guidelines that you have with the Arizona Department of Real Estate and that you have to follow. They go the next step and the next level and they provide a higher level of service by doing beyond the code, or beyond the legal to all the way to the code of ethics. So anything that you can think of, and that's one of the things that we're most proud of. There's a lot of tenets to how they go that extra mile to make sure that everything they do and in every dealing is ethical. And then to go an even extra mile to make sure that the consumer is protected within that. The consumers who they deal with, their clients, can always file what we call a grievance or go through a mediation process. So if they have a dispute resolution issue, we provide that service for them for free here in Arizona and at the Prescott Area Association of Realtors. We do it through the state association at the Arizona State Association. So if someone has an issue with a realtor or has a question about whether what they're doing is ethical, they can always call the Prescott Area Association of Realtors or the Arizona State Association of Realtors, who can kind of guide them through that process, let them know if maybe they're just misunderstanding, or let them know that there's a real issue and help them get that issue solved and that dispute resolved as soon as possible.
And I do get the newsletters that they send out, so I know the association provides a lot of educational opportunity for its members. As you said, the dispute resolution, and even our MLS comes from our association.
Yeah, the multiple listing service is ran by the Prescott Area Association of Realtors here, so we work very hard to make sure that the information in the MLS is as accurate as possible because we're syndicating to all of those places where the consumers are at, and our realtors need the consumers to have the best information they can to help them get new clients and to make sure that those clients aren't disappointed when they get to a property. So we work very hard at the MLS level, especially over the last year, to improve the quality of our data, to make sure that realtors are taking the time to add accurate data. We're working with the county to make sure that we're checking our data with them and we're helping them improve their data along with improving our own data, which is making for much better data so that when we syndicate out or when the consumers find a house on any third-party vendor, whether it's Realtor.com or Zillow or Homes.com, that information is as accurate as possible.
One of the things that you said early on is about our ability to build communities, and so I wanted to ask a little bit about our advocacy program.
Yes, one of my, when I first started about 6 years ago with the Real Estate Association, one of the things that I think impressed me the most when I first came in is that realtors do so much more than advocate for their own pocketbooks. We have a great PAC called the Realtor Political Action Committee, and we do work to support realtor champions and things across the country and local issues and those kind of things that we think. But we don't just worry about that, and what makes us special is we're always worried about the consumer. Anything for private property owner rights, you know, some of the big issues this year that we've been talking about, well water issues. There is a bill coming up with the House here in Arizona that would force or require that people who have wells on their property, even if they own the well and they've done the well, to have to put a meter on it. And then that meter, they would be responsible for pay to put that meter on it, but then they would monitor how much water that person's using in their private property. So that's been an issue and something that we've been looking at the state level all the way down to Prescott. How will this affect a lot of ours, especially in our rural area? A lot of people have wells. Do they want them to know how much water there is? How would that affect them? What would that mean? Should they have to pay for the meter if the information? All those kind of questions. So we're always protecting more than just us. We're definitely worried about what kind of commission taxes and things that our realtors have, but we're also always going to that next step. One of the big things on the realtor side that we're fighting for is to make sure that we can put out signs and things like that for open houses and things, but that affects consumers just as much as it does realtors, because if a consumer wants to have an open house for their house, but then their realtor can't put signs out where they need to get them there, that's a big issue.
Yeah, that's right.
So everything kind of goes in that circle. With the tax reform this year at the federal level, the real estate community and realtors all across the nation got very active, and they said, how can we and what can we do to make sure that all the good stuff in the tax reform stays? Because we agree, tax reform is necessary and needed to happen, but we didn't want things in the tax reform that would hurt homeowners and hurt real estate. So we worked very hard and had some really good successes within that as we move forward, and we're constantly doing things to talk about and help our realtors be able to have a conversation. Well, how is the new tax reform going to affect me as a consumer? How will it affect me if I buy a house this year? Those kind of things. So we're constantly giving that kind of information to our realtors. We work with the state representatives, national representatives, to have them come and speak to our realtors on a regular basis. The jail tax special district initiative is coming up, renewing that tax. We had them come talk to our realtors about why that's important. And then we not only think about how that could affect property values and things like that, because we never want to hurt that, but how would that affect the quality of life here? What would that do? We came in support of Proposition 443 earlier this year because we felt like it was a huge quality of life issue not to have first responders who are adequately taken care of, so that we can have not just rookies, not just we wanted to have a full gamut of well-prepared people that can take care of the people that call this area home.
Well, excellent. That is a lot of information.
That's what I'm known for.
And excellent. If a consumer wanted to contact the association and ask questions, how would they do that? Would they go to your website or call your office?
One of the best ways to probably get information is to go to our website at www.par.org, and it's PAAR.org. Prescott Area Association of Realtors. And if they wanted immediate feedback, there is a feedback button where they can ask questions. A lot of times we get questions about statistics, we get questions about how to file a grievance, all those kind of things. Those come directly to me as CEO, and I make sure either they get to the right staff person, or if I need to be the one to respond to it, then we get those responded to as quickly as possible, and just kind of work with them any way and every way we can.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Jacqueline Bendig with Arizona Prime Real Estate here with Steve Ross for Movement Mortgage. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Today we're going to be talking about VA loans.
Okay.
Now, who qualifies for a VA loan?
So virtually, as long as you've served and been honorably discharged, there's some nuances there, but generally speaking, as long as you've been, served your full term and been honorably discharged, you're eligible.
Okay. And first stop for VA loans would be a certificate of eligibility, correct?
That can be done during the process. It doesn't necessarily have to be done up front, but we can take care of that for the veteran in case they don't have, the copy on hand.
Wonderful. And what is the limit for VA loans this year?
So it was actually just increased this year. Actually, all of Arizona is at $453,100.
Wow.
So that's a nice little bump to kind of help with some of the inventory issues right now.
Correct. And as far as I know, there's nothing that needs to go down on that.
Correct. A VA loan does not require any type of down payment, so they do 100% financing. There is what they call a VA funding fee, and that it varies depending on a lot of factors, but that's just a fee that goes straight to the VA to help them curb the costs of offering these loans.
Okay, and there's no private mortgage insurance on VA loans?
Correct. So typically, if you put down less than 20%, you pay what's called PMI, or private mortgage insurance. VA loans don't have that at all.
That's wonderful.
With zero down. So it's a huge savings at least probably $100 to $200 a month.
So other than those benefits, can you think of anything else that a veteran might benefit from a VA loan versus a conventional or FHA?
VA loans are a little more flexible as far as guidelines, debt to income ratios and things like that, but it's a little easier to get a veteran approved for a loan.
Okay. Does credit score play a factor as much?
Definitely does,
Okay.
but it kind of it depends on the situation as a whole as to what they'll allow.
Okay. Are there any other common questions or concerns that people have when applying for a VA loan or asking about one?
A VA certificate can definitely be reused. So if somebody's had a VA loan in the past and that loan's been paid off, they can reuse it for another VA loan. So they're not just stuck with one loan for a lifetime and that's all they can use.
Okay. And then I did read somewhere that if someone were to assume the current VA loan, that would have to be paid off before that veteran would be eligible for another?
Assumable loans really aren't done in much anymore.
Okay.
It was very helpful when rates were really high.
Makes sense. Well, thank you, Steve.
Very welcome.
Hi, my name is Terry Atkins, Associate Broker with Arizona Prime Real Estate. I'm here today to share something that I am super passionate about, and that is the Yavapai Humane Society in Prescott. I am a dog lover, and this is where I like to donate, and I would give a lot more time there if I wouldn't take every dog home. So our special guest today is Gucci Dog, and we have Terry Davis from the Yavapai Humane Society to talk about Gucci.
Well, thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it. I brought Gucci with me today. She is a 9-year-old American Pit Bull mix. As you can see, she's beautiful. She has gorgeous eyes, and she really enjoys playing ball. So if you're looking for a dog that's active and can cuddle, she's your girl. You take her out and play ball with her, and then she'll take a nap with you later. So she's really a good dog.
She's been very good since she's been here with the cameras.
See, she's posing for us right here. I think she's going to bond with her family really well. She's already bonded with us today, and we've only had her out and playing with her for about half an hour. So if you're looking for a dog that's going to be really loyal,
Right.
she'll be a very good girl for that.
And I know that sometimes, she's not full pit, but sometimes pits get a bad rap. And so
Me too.
I'm here to tell you right now, I mean, I love all dogs, but this dog has been perfect since coming in with all these new people.
Definitely.
And she's gotten belly rubs and treats. And
The interesting thing about American Pit Bulls is they're actually just a combination of all different dogs' mutts until they became the Pit Bull.
Right.
So a lot of times two dogs are crossed and they may look like a pitty, but they're actually not. Just because they're such a generic looking dog. And one of my favorite facts about Pit Bulls is they used to be the nanny dog. So
Right.
back in the early 1900s, you would leave your kiddos with your Pit Bull and he would guard them against strangers.
Right.
So they're very loyal family dogs. And I'm sure Gucci will be right there with other pitties like
I
that.
can tell.
Another great,
She's looking at the treats. I want her to come to me. But
she's definitely treat focused, she's ball focused. So if you want to teach her things, those are great things. If you want a dog that's going to learn, if they're treat or love focused, they're going to learn faster because they're going to do those things for love and treats. So she's going to be great for someone that wants to work with her as far as sitting, laying, staying, all that. She's already prepared for that. So.
okay. And how long has she been there?
She came to us on December 31st, so about 6 weeks now she's been with us.
Okay.
Our average length of stay for dogs is around 7 days, so she's definitely a lot higher than a lot of our dogs are right now.
Okay.
She's looking for a home, so if there's a family out there that's looking for a great family dog, she'd be perfect. She's house trained, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's wonderful.
She came from a home with kids, so we know she'll be good with other children.
Those are a lot of big ones. So good with kids and potty trained and likes to play and loves belly rubs. By the time we air this, if she's adopted, wonderful. If she's not, I will cover her adoption fees for whoever adopts her.
That's
with
so
who you
generous.
approve. Yeah.
Yes, we have adoption counselors, and what they do is they do meet and greets with the people and the dog. They get a questionnaire that they'll answer, so we want to make sure that their lifestyle fits with the dog we're pairing them with. That definitely ensures success for a forever home, because we only want to adopt them out once. We don't want them coming back.
Right.
Thank you. That's so generous of
Of course. Of course. That is, that's my way because, again, I want to take them all, so, and I can't.
None of us can, but you know, getting them exposure is really important, so thank you.
And you also have a, oh, I'm going to have to take her. I know that the Humane Society also has a spay-neuter wellness clinic.
We do. So one of the ways we generate revenue and also give back to our community is our spay, neuter, and wellness clinic. And this is a place that you can go and get your pets spayed or neutered for a reduced cost.
Okay.
Of course, spay neuter is really important because one unspayed cat and one unneutered cat and their offspring can actually generate 11 million cats in just 9 years.
Oh my gosh.
So that's 2.8 cats a litter and twice a year, which is totally doable for cats. So we want to make sure that we think about spaying and neutering. We have programs out there for people that cannot afford it. A lot of people that are low income, we have a $25 Big Fix program. So that's about a tenth of what you would pay to normally spay or neuter. So you can go online at yavapahumane.org, fill out the paperwork. It also is for military members or veterans. Same deal, $25 spay neuter. And you really can't beat it because a litter will cost you a lot more than that.
And this is for anyone, if they have their dog or cat, it's not, they don't have to adopt and then they get that. So
Right.
you can bring your
Absolutely.
pet and you'll, for spay neuter.
Definitely. So all of our pets, when they go out, they're fully vaccinated.
okay.
They have been spayed or neutered, and they've had a wellness check. And then we also give you a free vet visit. So our pets come fully locked and loaded. The only thing
Okay.
they need is love. But if you do have a pet at home that maybe you got from a friend or another source, then come in. We'll give you that rate if you are low income or if you're military. And if
Okay.
not, the rates are still really reasonable. I believe they start at just $49, and
That is.
usually it's around $300. So, and all the proceeds go back to homeless pets like Gucci here. So it's a really good deal.
That is. I actually did not realize it was for pets outside of the adopted ones.
so
okay, that's wonderful.
that's for public pets. We also have a vaccination clinic every Friday. And so what that is you can get discounted vaccines. You don't pay for a vet visit, which is great because that's $50 off the top already.
Right.
So you just come in, you pay for your vaccines. Vaccines start at $16, super cheap. And you first come, first serve. So you'll just come and wait with your pet till it's your turn, get it done, get out, and save a lot of money. And again, all the proceeds go to pets at our shelter. So it's a really good way to support the Humane Society and save money.
Right. That's wonderful. And then I know we have some other events coming up at the Humane Society. One I know is Walk for the Animals, and I try to do that when I can. I often work on the weekends, but
That does make it a little hard.
yes, but I always get the donations in, and then yeah, we're there and we walk if we can. But
That's the great thing. Walk for the Animals this year is on May 19th, which will be a Saturday.
Yes.
It starts at 9 in the morning, and it's really a fun day to celebrate pets. So you can bring your own dog out to walk. We have a 1 mile or a 5K. We also have a Strut Your Mutt contest.
Right.
That's really popular. So you can enter in categories like Best Trick, like owner pet lookalike, or best dressed. And so that's really fun. If you can't participate, you can still become a fundraiser, which is what you were talking
Right.
about. You can sign up at yavapahumane.org and create a page. You can show off your pets on the page. There's spots for you to put your photo in, and then you just share that on Facebook. You just hit share. It'll share to all your friends, and the verbiage is
Right.
already there, and they
Right.
can donate to your page.
yes, and I have done that. It works and it's fun. And then I love going though because you start everybody at the same time on the walk, and just looking at all these animals going, it's fun. It's a good time.
You can't help but smile
Right.
seeing all the animals, and a lot of times people dress their animals up, or they
Right.
dress like their animals. So it's really a great way to celebrate the importance pets are in our lives.
Tell us about, I know there's also the thrift store, and that's a big one. I've donated to that too.
I love
And there's
you.
some good stuff there too.
Yes, there's so many amazing things. I actually got a beautiful marble dining room table there. So I've decorated a lot of my house through the thrift store, and it feels great because I can call my husband and say, I got this beautiful used table, and proceeds go to help homeless pets. So it's really a win-win. And the same thing with donating. If you have something that's gently used, we'll take it, sell it, and you can change your goods in for actually hope for homeless pets. So it's a really good exchange.
And where is it?
It's on 1601 Iron Springs Road, which is kind of out by Waters Garden.
So the Yavapai Humane Society takes care of dogs, cats, and there's also an area for horses.
Yes, we just opened our equine center out in Chino Valley. It's been open for about a year and a half now. And so we take donkeys, mules, horses, any equine that needs some help. We're not a sanctuary, we're actually a rehoming. So we bring in horses that might be having a little bit of troubles and with their behavior. And so we actually work with them until they're adoptable, and we'll adopt them back out.
So if somebody wanted to volunteer, what would be the process?
Great. So if you want to volunteer, you can call Allie, our volunteer coordinator. She's at the 928-445-2666, extension 103. You could fill out a volunteer application online and kind of tell us about your skill set. That's yavapaihumane.org/volunteer. And there you can kind of tell us, do you have experience in photography? And maybe you want to volunteer to be a photographer. Maybe you love dogs. You can give us all that information and we can match you with your skill set, which is really nice. Or you can come down to the shelter, meet us personally, pick up an application there at 1625 Sundog Ranch Road. We would love to meet you and show you our facility and hopefully get you on board to helping our animals.
That sounds great. It sounds like you make it easy to apply and to volunteer, and
Absolutely.
that's very accessible. So I know you need help with dog walkers and
Yes, and we'll teach you all the skills that you need. So if you come in and you're a newbie but you love dogs, we're more than willing to teach you. We have behaviorists they actually train our dog walkers, so that way we're all walking the dogs the same way, because with a lot of people it can get a little confusing. So we do have a certain way that we walk the dogs. We're really into positive affirmations with the dogs, a lot of yes, 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 a lot of treats. So they'll show you how to do that. We have our cat staff will show you how we cuddle our cats, so that's kind of fun too. You can also volunteer at the thrift store, which is a great opportunity because you'll see stuff before it hits the floor.
you get first pickings.
You do. You get first picking, so that's a lot of fun too. So there's all different ways to volunteer and help animals, even if you can't interact with them directly. But you love animals, we'll find some place for you that you'll be helpful.
That's all very good information.
Yeah,
So-
since we're nonprofit, the more volunteers we have, the better we can care for our facilities and our animals. So volunteers are really important to us. They're really the heroes of the animals in our community.
Well, thank you for being here today, and I thank Gucci. She's off camera. She's sleeping. But and again, I just wanted to say that if she's adopted, I'm going to cover that, and if she gets adopted real quick, then I'll take on a few more where I can. That's how I can help right now. So.
Thank you for making a difference. I think it was Gandhi that said, you can't change the world, but you can change the world for one dog, and that's so important. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming today.
Absolutely, anytime.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Bendig with Arizona Prime Real Estate, and today we're here with Keith, the owner of Granite Mountain Home Inspections. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your company and why you do what you do.
Well, again, Keith North with Granite Mountain Home Inspections. I am a home inspector in Prescott. I've been here for 2.5 years, and I got into the doing home inspections from a construction background. Excuse me. I have extensive knowledge in the construction trades for about 30 years. I've done everything from plumbing to framing houses, installing windows and doors. I spent 8 years in the HVAC industry, and the reason I got into it, first and foremost, is I like houses and building, but for doing contracting work over 30 years, I had some medical issues with my neck, and the work I was doing was not conducive to the injury I had on my neck. So I tried to focus on what I could do with the skills and knowledge I had, or I have, and I've done contracting, and I really didn't want to do that again for various reasons. So, and I like dealing with people. I like helping people a lot. So, I looked into home inspections, and wasn't too difficult for me to do the education and the testing, since I've been doing it for 30 years. So, I became a home inspector.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really great foundation for general home inspections, having pretty much done each different part of HVAC, construction.
That's correct. I've have hands-on experience in most all facets and areas of the construction or the building trades, from foundation all the way up to the roofing. So as far as home inspections go, you know, I see it from a hands-on perspective and not from a so-called book perspective. You know, the knowledge I have isn't from reading books, it's from swinging hammers, it's from sweating pipes, it's from running ductwork and putting on roofing. So I have a first-hand knowledge. I know what to look for. I know what is and is not a problem and the significance of it, you know, from doing that stuff in the past.
So a little bit about why somebody would want a home inspection.
Number one, for a real estate sale, if you're a buyer, and getting a home inspection gives you a much better understanding of the current condition of the home as the home inspector inspects it. So,
What you're getting into.
Yeah. You'll have a better understanding after a home inspection for a real estate sale. You'll have a much better understanding of the current condition. You know, is there any structural or foundation issues? Are you about to need a new roof? Plumbing leaks, you know, would you be needing a new water heater or HVAC system anytime soon? It gives you a much better understanding, makes you more educated about the house. Also, the home inspection report is used as a negotiation tool with the agent and the buyer with the seller. Another something becoming more popular these days with home inspections is where a seller will hire a home inspector to do an inspection on the house prior to the sale. I think it's advantageous for the seller because now a buyer comes in and a lot of the things that may have been issues no longer are issues. It's up to the seller if they want to share that information with the buyer as far as the report goes. But some of the problems can be taken care of prior to that. And then one other thing that's not as frequent, but I actually just had one today. A customer called me today, and it's a single older lady, and she asked me for a home inspection. It has nothing to do with the buy or sale of a house. It's a maintenance issue, and she's found that in the past, if she hires a plumber to come in, he's going to find things that may not necessarily be wrong, but trying to sell her stuff that she may not need.
Happens a lot.
Yes, and that happens with not just as an example, a plumber, but all the different trades.
Yes.
So she wants to have me come in and give her an understanding of the condition of the house and what should be addressed and what shouldn't be, and then she can hire people appropriately. So those are kind of the three areas. The most common, though, is the real estate sale.
Extremely helpful.
Very helpful. I think it's very, very helpful for a potential buyer to have a home inspection done. It just gives them a much better understanding of the condition of the house. Maybe some things that weren't seen will be uncovered during the home inspection.
As for sellers or people that kind of want a better understanding of what their home's doing.
Yeah, and that's these days becoming more popular, is what's sometimes termed as a pre-inspection agreement. And you know, it just makes those smaller issues or even larger ones, they're just known by the seller, so they can take care of those, and it just makes the house, I think it aids in the sale of the house for the buyer. So
It's very helpful on both sides.
I think it is. Buyer just wants to make sure they know what they're getting into and there's no serious, significant outstanding issues. But the seller one is becoming more popular for sellers to do a pre-sale inspection.
It really saves everyone time.
It can save time. I think houses show better if somebody's been in there and gets a lot of these some of these issues resolved, especially buyers that aren't familiar with construction. You know, a water leak isn't such a serious thing if it's a small water leak and it's taken care of. It's very common. Other water leaks could be much more significant. If mold, erosion, there's all kinds of things. But you know, somebody who's inexperienced with construction, as far as the buyer goes, they hear certain words and you know, they just see dollar signs happening.
Yes.
And a lot of these are very minor things that don't cost a lot, and are fixed rather quickly.
Right on, Keith. Well, thank you very much for your time, and happy to hear that somebody's so passionate about the industry that's doing business.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.